Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Toon Review. It is me and the Billy Bob Coleman, and celebrating, of course, Tranmere 1, Newcastle United 2. And they're just showing some goals from Alexander Isak at the moment on Sky. Obviously talking about him, but we will bring you who we've got in the next round as soon as we know. But we will talk a little bit about the game, Billy. Just pleasing to get through. They were kicking lumps out of us, it's fair to say, but a lot of people, putting in the comments, well, it's League Two. It's that kind of football that they play. It's a very hard game. It's a very hard tackling game. But listen, we've come through it. That was the main thing.
Yeah, they're never going to match us for skill and technique, are they? So they're going to have to kind of make it a level of game with effort and physicality, which they thought they did that pretty well, actually. At times, I thought they went over the top with it. But the game of two halves, wasn't it, really? Until Kraft got injured and Trippier came on, that was what changed the game, in my opinion. A bit of leadership and a bit of quality on our right flank. And, yeah, second half, I thought we played really well and kind of held off an onslaught near the end too, which was very good to see also.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tranmere, that were always going to give it a go, weren't they? Just pump the ball up and see what they could do. And, they didn't really sort of come close to scoring, if you ask me. They put a few crosses in. I think we dealt with them pretty well. There was one cross at the end which went right through everybody. But Darlow didn't really have a save to make. Came out for a couple of crosses and dealt with them quite well. In the end, we got through it. And did it surprise you that he brought Bruno on, given how the game was going?
He did a bit. There was nothing to gain from it, and in fact, it looks like he's got a bit of a niggle now. So, yeah, so it was a strange decision, but he obviously wanted to kind of shore things up. I thought Joe Linton was doing that well enough on his own, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, it was a strange decision.
Yeah. Paul says their tactics, as far as I could see, was hurt as many of our players as possible. The ref was abysmal. The referee had a poor game. But look, the Tranmere manager is going to set them out to go in hard and give us as a rough time as possible. It's not Tranmere's. They don't have to be gentle with us. Tranmere will play any way they can and any way they will to win the game. So, we have to expect that when you go against lower league teams. But the fact of the matter is we've come through the test. We've won. We've scored two decent goals. The first one, of course, Trippier making a difference as soon as he came on with that beautiful corner for Lascelles. And just like we were talking about, Billy, at half-time, is Chris Wood moving towards the ball instead of the ball coming to him. He did exactly that, and look what happens.
Yeah, it was a great bit of... It wasn't excessive movement. He just, a couple of yards left and met the ball perfectly. It was a great delivery. It was all about delivery, wasn't it? And he just got it straight in the net. It was a good header. But if you get service like that week in, week out, he scored more goals, wouldn't he, to be honest? Well,
hopefully that's a kick up the arse for him, really, and a real confidence booster. Murphy proved tonight he's not good enough, needs moved on ASAP. Hope Trips is okay. Thought he broke his foot again. I was concerned, but he played on, and I'm sure if there was any real damage there, he would have been off the pitch straight away. Jacob Murphy, Billy, just not good enough. Not good enough. He should theoretically have been a standout player tonight in the position he plays. Just nothing from him. Him and Longstaff was shocking.
Yeah, I think Jacob Murphy had enough chances now. He's not good enough. I'm sorry to say. The lad's got his ties. He's a Newcastle United supporter kid, but unfortunately the quality isn't there.
Yeah.
I think it's time he moved on because he's not going to get. He's not going to get many more chances now. I would have thought. Tonight was a perfect chance to showcase.
We talk about that, moving players on and stuff, but we've got to remember that, we also have been talking a lot about squad depth, haven't we? And the lack of. We can't exactly bring, another 5 players in. That we have to be patient with that. And obviously, yes, we will bring some more transfers in January. There's no doubt about that. But it's a slow build. But we need these players as backup at the moment, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, my internet's a bit dodgy, actually. I might have to come out and come back in again, Paul.
Yeah, okay, don't, mate. No problem. I'll just go through some comments, mate. I'll see you shortly.
Okay.
So Billy will be back with us soon. As soon as he sorts his internet out, he will be back with us. Troll says, hope Bruno doesn't have a groin problem. That would be a disaster. He was rubbing that at the end, but hopefully be okay. Bruno pulled up a little, was holding his groin, but seemed okay after that touch. Wood, yeah. Listen, I think he got a knock in it more than a pulled muscle, to be honest. So hopefully be okay. But we'll see in time. Steven says probably just needed a wee. He hasn't expecting to have to go on. Probably had a couple of pints. Len says, how is bigging up the cells? What am I not seeing? I know. Listen, he will. Billy, you're back. Eddie Howe just talking about Jamal Lascelles earlier on there and bigging him up, Billy. I don't quite get that, but he's going to win it because he's his club captain.
Considering the whacking he got in his face and the goal, he scored a goal also. I thought he was okay tonight, if I'm perfectly honest. There was a nice bit of defensive play when he went past their winger and took it down the line. He's not great. Yeah. He's not perfect. He's a good fourth choice centre half, in my opinion. But yeah, considering the injury he had, and I thought he did okay. Certainly not the worst amongst the back four. Yeah.
By the way, we're number 31 in the pot. So we will see, but obviously all the others come in, the Tottenhams, the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals of the world all come in, Manchester City, Liverpool. But listen, we don't have to fear anybody the way we're playing at the minute, to be honest. Obviously, if we play against tougher opposition, he's going to play a stronger team. Ian says, not a great performance, but we are through. That is the main thing. Dubravka talks with Man United. Hope we rinse them for 40+ million. That is not going to happen, I guarantee you. Who's doing the draw? John Barnes and John Aldridge. The draw's underway, guys, so we may as well just pause for a second and have a look at this. Leicester are first out of the hat. And they will be playing Newport County at the King Power. So Leicester City versus Newport is the first draw. Next team out is number 27, and that is West Ham United. And West Ham, they will be at... don't you dare go to sleep. Bloody thing saying the box is going to go... Number 4.
Blackburn
Rovers. Can he match that? Next out, number 28, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of course, our opponents in the Premier League on Sunday. Live commentary here on the Toon Review. And we'll play number 30, which is Leeds United.
Ooh.
So an all Premier League game there. It was nearly 31, Billy. It was nearly 31. Next out, number 22, which is Nottingham Forest. And they will be at home to number 26, Tottenham. So there you go.
Come on, keep drawing Premier League teams together.
Yeah, Billy, if you're slightly ahead of me, don't shout out if Newcastle come out.
I won't.
Next out the hat is number 18, and that's Manchester United.
Of course they're at home. Whoa!
Of course they are. Of course they are. They will play number 3, Aston Villa. They will play Stevie G's. Aston Villa. And the next team out of the hat is going to be Kelly's Eye number 1, and that's Bournemouth. That's a long trip for a Carabao for us if we get them. Oh, hell. Don't, Barnsley. Number 12, Everton. Oh, that's a tough game for the Scouse Mackhams going down there. Interesting. So, anyway, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle still haven't come out. The next one out the hat is number 16, Liverpool. Oh, get City. Whew. Please get City. And they will be playing number 11, Derby County. What a draw for Derby. That is.
Yeah, they're pleased with that.
The last 2 years.
Pleased with that.
Yeah, yeah. Next out is number 6, and that's Burnley. Burnley. And they will be at home to number 9, Crawley. So Crawley Town will go to Burnley. Next out the hat by Mr. Aldridge is number 32, Bristol City. Could we get Annie's team?
No.
No. Billy, shut up. Number 15, Lincoln City. Well, Bristol City fancy the chances in that. Next out of the hat, I believe that is number 17, and that is Manchester City.
You like this one?
And they get number 8, Chelsea. Brilliant draw. That's 2 of the big ones. Good. That's a cracking draw, that, actually. Next out is number 25, which is Stevenage. Of course, Newcastle United have previous with these guys, of course. And Stevenage will be at home to number 7, Charlton Athletic. Holy moly.
Oh, still get over the 31, you twat.
Number 19 is out, and that is MK Dons. And MK Dons will be playing at home too. Number 20, Morecambe. Holy flaming Christ.
Join Sorry.
Next out, number 31, Newcastle United. Billy, we have a home draw. Who is it? Come on, Barnsey. Number 10, Crystal Palace. That's a good draw, I think. I'm happy with that one. And next out, number 24, which is Southampton. And they will take on number 23, Sheffield Wednesday. 2 more draws. 2 more games to come out of the hat. Number 2 is Arsenal. And they will be at home too.
Ooh.
Number 29, Brighton and Hove Albion. That's going to be a good game. Where Brighton are playing at the minute. And the final draw for the round 3 is number 5, and that is Brentford. And Brentford will be at home to Gillingham. So there you go. Newcastle United will take on Crystal Palace in the 3rd round of the Carabao. Are you happy with that one, Bill?
Yeah, it's home tie, isn't it? But I mean, of all the teams we could have do. I think it better ones than Palace to play. But yeah, good tie.
Yeah.
Home draw, 3-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis didn't stamp his name on the game, but did nothing wrong, says Liam. Scan says we would have totally lost that game under the old regime. I think we will, actually. Jordan says, hope you're well, Paul, mate, and Billy. Good result. Nice to see some of the fringe players. Yeah, but some of those fringe players didn't do enough. Elliot Anderson did for me, though, Billy. He was the one standout, really. First half he was excellent. Quite a little in the second, but really stood out.
Yeah, an outstanding game, I thought. Of all the players kind of being on the fringes, he's pushed himself forward now, and I think he'll be the first choice sub when we make subs in the next game because likes of Murphy, Richie, he outshone them totally, didn't he?
Yeah. Toon for Life says, out of all the players in the starting lineup today, who do you think would most likely become a manager? I say Richie. From the starting lineup, I'd say Richie, but obviously Kieran Trippier, I think, has got a long future in football as well, without a shadow of a doubt. Spacebar said we made hard work of it, and some involved in that need to have played their last game for Newcastle. Is Billy filming on a Nokia 3310? Billy has a bit of the old John Sinclair internet going on tonight, but listen, we battle through. We always do. Lee says, not pretty to watch, proper slog, but we're through. Hope the niggly injuries aren't too bad. I think Emil Kraft may be looking at the time on the sidelines, though, Bill.
Yeah, looks a nasty one. Amazing, actually, that the player didn't get yellow carded for that because it was a shocking tackle.
Obviously, people are, we've had a chance to have a look at the tackle on Darlow at the end of the first half, and how is that not a red, Billy?
Unbelievable. Would have been in the Premier League 99 times out of 100, I think. He went over the top, no intention of trying to go for the ball, and straight onto Carl Darlow's knee. Yeah, red card all day long. Yeah.
Jim says they went out to rattle us, and a certain respect they did. We couldn't play Premier League football. Jim says Eddie did say that Wood moves great. I'll high five him if they go, but that's it. he does big him up, but that's just the way Eddie Howe is. We I remember speaking to a Bournemouth fan when Eddie Howe first got appointed, and he was very positive about the way Eddie handles his players. He doesn't hammer them in public. He's always very respectful. But behind the scenes, he's more of a cynical manager. He will bollock if he has to, but he won't come out in the public and say anything, which is credit to him. Michael Marsden, thank you for another $44.99, mate. That is unbelievable generosity. You are an absolute star, an angel, and a gentleman. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that, Michael. But I won't go on too much because every time I see him, he punches me if I thank him too much. So, but thank you. Stu says, evening, Paul and Billy. Hello again, everyone in the chat. We've got to be happy we're in the next round. Not happy with some of these players, just not good enough, especially for where we are going. Are we assuming Dubravka is away? Well, look, it's come out before the game that obviously he's feeling slightly ill. Are you buying that, Billy, or do you think he's off, given what his agent said before the start of the season that he's not, he doesn't want to sit on the bench?
Well, unless Nick Pope gets injured, there's no way on God's earth he gets in the first team now. He's Nick Pope's a better all-round goalkeeper than Martin Dubravka. Sorry to say that, but yeah, I'm not buying the illness thing. I think he's on his way. I think you'll see him play for a different club before the end of next week. Could you see him going to Manchester United? Well, I'd hope to rip him off a few quid like they tried to with us with Lingard, definitely. Yeah. Every dog has his day and all that, Every dog. 10 million loan deal. Indeed. Geordie J. Gaiman, thank you for your membership. I think that's a renewal, but welcome to the Members Club again. Thank you very much for your support. Billy, your internet suddenly jumped into life. I can see you properly now. The technology, man. Technology. Up the A1 says, evening all. Tranmere goal looked offside. Pleased for Wood. Look, whether it was offside or not, it was dreadful defending. Whichever way you look at it, and we were carved apart. Yes, it was a nice move from Tranmere. It has to be said. I think if we'd put a move like that together, we'd be very happy. But it's one of those things. It's one of those things. We've come through it, and that's the big thing. Murphy simply does not pass the ball, doesn't cross, it's heads down, run, shoot, repeat. Glad I wasn't watching and just listening to Paul's commentary, says Rachel. Thank you very much. Tim says, gents, good evening. Loving the show as always. Tonight showed how weak our depth is. Not being negative to the Premier League team. Paul, loved your special shout out the other night. Thanks very much. Trippier is quality. Even his interview is praising Wood. Yeah, he comes across as such a leader, doesn't he, Billy? Whenever you hear him speak, he's just a leader. I think that was the catalyst for the game, if I'm honest. Kraft getting injured and coming on and inspiring the team, because that's what he is, an inspirational player. And deliveries, of course, fantastic. He's just a fantastic player. Still not quite sure his legs are quite up to what they were, but that's for another day, I guess. Indeed. Geordie J. Gaiman, thank you for your £5 super chat. Horrible game, horrible refereeing, but hope we get Isak in. Carl says, Paul, better commentator than Keane, Carragher or Neville. Thank you very much. But if you don't know, Billy covers the home games, I cover the away games, and it works a treat. Douglas think he got whacked in the crown jewels from the ball, Paul. That's all it was with Bruno. Yeah, I thought it did look as if he got caught either by the ball or a flailing boot somewhere. Would you swap Dubravka for Fred? No. Probably not. No. John says a broken nose does not cover up poor play for the most of that game. Yeah, look, Lascelles give it away a few times, but we know his defensive liabilities. They're clear for everybody to see. But all we're saying is credit to him for carrying on. A lot of players would have just gone off crying, basically. He says, my nose is bleeding. I need to come off, but he didn't. Kendo says lots of Premier League teams facing each other. Yep, which is good. But Palace at home, I expect us to get through that because I think we'll play a stronger team against Palace, Billy. I would hope so. I mean, Crystal Palace last night put a pretty full strength side out, if I'm being honest, and I think we're going to have to match them up quality wise. So yeah, absolutely. hopefully with some more additions to the squad, we can go out with a full strength side and go through to the next round, because you're going to have a lot of Premier League sides going out this round. Now there's opportunity to score this year.
Well, Man City or Chelsea's got to go. Is it Man City, Chelsea? Yeah. So one of them's got to go. Could have been a better draw, but we can beat anyone at home in the fortress of St James's Park. I think Palace will be shitting themselves at Newcastle away, hopefully. I'd rather be at home to Palace than away to a lower league team. Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be a better spectacle of a game. Status' home time, good to be through, but we made hard work of it. We won't beat Palace with that team tonight, that's for sure. I agree, Barbara, but Billy, there's no way you'll play that team against Palace.
No, none whatsoever. None whatsoever. You'll see the likes of Miggy and Saint Maximan and whoever our centre forward may be by that time. I think we're a totally different front three. The likes of Bruno and Joe Linton will surely play also. Yeah, we'll be pretty much full strength, I'd imagine. Because, as I say, this is a chance to go forward, and at the end of this cup is a European place if you win it. So why wouldn't we try for it?
Exactly. Christopher says, unfortunately, I disagree. I thought Anderson looked a yard off. Hasn't had a lot of football, so expected. We can't rely on him. I think a loan deal to a championship club would be beneficial. I don't agree. But, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
I don't, but he did fade as the game went on. That's expected, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, the more he plays, certainly gets game time in the Premier League, then we will see a massive, massive difference. Let's hope Murphy not playing took a place that someone else could have filled, as he was useless today. I just don't get the Murphy thing. We see him come on in the Premier League and he doesn't make any difference. And I think, Eddie needs to sharpen up the substitutions, because, bringing Murphy on all the time, he has no impact on the games. And, listen, bottom line is, he was playing against a League Two side today who were near the bottom of the league, and he was hardly in the game.
Yeah, his first trip's horrendous. He had a good chance early doors to score, fluffed that, gave the ball away countless times. Looked slow, didn't look quick, got pushed off the ball easily. Just not good enough. Just not good enough.
Apparently, there's a bid being submitted for Dubravka by Fabrizio Romano. Wonder how much it is. Is the NEFC loan for transfers ground improvements included in FFP?
Who knows?
No, I don't think it is. Pedro says, Billy, switch your router off from the mains for 60 seconds, then back on. It clears the backlog of data that causes lag. Should do this at least once a month.
No, should do after the show, Pedro.
Yeah. Listen, it's only a quick show tonight, Pedro. We're just talking quickly about the game, and then obviously we'll be back tomorrow with the Wolves preview, which is and hopefully some more transfer news. We may go live at any time. Shearer had no chance almost to save us and needed Owen, and he refused. Not Shearer's fault. Go on about his management. Vitamin says, didn't see any of the game, but felt like I was there. Great commentary, Paul. Why doesn't Billy join you for the commentary? It's difficult when you're watching it on two screens, because you're never ever at the same point in a match. So that's why we agree that Billy does the home games and I do the away ones, and that's the way it works, and that's the way it really it does great. And then Billy gets I'm obviously at the home game, so Billy gets Alex on for a little bit of an opinion at half time and full time, and then we obviously do the review all together. So it works well that way. And I think just having one of us commentating works better, because, as I say, you're at a different point of the streams, and it's difficult to do that. If we were in the same room, then yes, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. But we will keep bringing you every single game, though. Tonight's match certainly confirms who we need to get shot of, says Rachel. I agree. Kendo says the Tranmere manager moaning about a block for them conceding a goal. Is he having a laugh? Their defenders were practically going pre-knocked out on our attackers. I don't get that. Why? I mean, listen to the Tranmere manager. Twat, shut up, says Jim. Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest...
Well, he's got a perfect name, hasn't he? Mickey Mellon. Yeah. Proper Mellon. But he's got a penalty from one corner where Wood was manhandled to the ground.
Yeah, Lascelles was as well. But they should have had a red card as well, but he doesn't seem to have mentioned that either. But, Why can't he just be graceful? At least Eddie was graceful. He didn't come out and say Tranmere was shocking with the tackles tonight. That he could have said a lot, but he actually praised them for the work rate and things like that, as you'd expect from a quality manager. Jules says Tranmere manager just said we expected the ref to get decisions right. On that we agree. Yeah, he got them all wrong, which was horrendous. I mean that tackle on Dubravka, on Darlow could have snapped his bloody leg in two. Ridiculous. Keith says, I don't think there is a team in the Premier with such a disparity in quality between its best 15 than the rest. Yeah, that's a good point. But we are rebuilding. I think that's what people need to remember, Billy. This is a rebuild.
Absolutely. And this is what this transfer window has been about, hasn't it? We're going to strengthen, obviously, tomorrow or day after, whenever it comes, with Isaac. That seems to be pretty much on the way. Although we did speak about Pedro, and that's kind of come back a bit now. But we will be bringing 2 or 3 players in that will strengthen.
Absolutely. And I think we will. I think, Keith Downey says that he thinks we'll bring another 2 in, despite, being linked with Isak. So we just have to wait and see on that one. Dave says, I've seen some fans moaning about Isak and scoring record. Need to stop being negative. Class young player and statement signing. He is strong, fast, and very skillful. Look, Dave, you're always going to get the idiots who are going to be negative about anything. It doesn't matter what Newcastle United do. There will always be those idiots out there that are absolute, complete, monumental bellends who will not be positive about anything. I had somebody in the chat during the watch along saying he switched it off in the first half because we were being negative. I mean, that is just ridiculous. What in that first half, Billy, was there to be positive about? And then I sort of said, that's the sort of beauty of this channel in a way, is that we don't bullshit anybody. If we're not playing well, we'll say we're not playing well. We're not frightened to say it. Yet you get all these pussyfooters who, just because you think you're saying something bad about Newcastle, that they say something like that. But you've got to call a spade, haven't you? Absolutely.
There's no point lying about things just to make people feel better. You're lying to yourself, you're lying to your listeners and watchers. Just call it as it is, which we do here. Sometimes we'll say certain players have played awful when they have, but we'll praise them when they play well. That's what football's all about, an opinion. Football opinions. I know everyone's got different ones, but everyone could see the first half today that we were awful, and now to be said.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we'll go on to the player ratings now, Billy, because I mean, there's not a lot to talk about that game, is there? There's just it was one of them. The way the game went, it was one of them that you just want to get the win and get out of there and move on. And to be fair, we've done exactly that. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, Billy. Carl Darlow, you can have.
Yeah, couldn't do, a bit slow with the ball. Getting to the goal. For the goal, I thought he was a bit slow getting out to it. But on the whole, I thought he did okay. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Received an awful challenge. His starting position is deeper than what Pope's is, and we can't play short either with him in the goal. It seems to be longer. But I think I'll give him a 7 because he was.
The good thing about Darlow, when that challenge happened, Billy, what I was happy about was, he went down injured, but he wasn't rolling around like we've seen, the continental goalkeepers do. I mean, if that was, Edison or somebody like that have been rolling around like they've been shot. So I really thought that he did well there, and he got back to his feet and just got on with the game. So credit to Darlow for that. But I'd agree with that. Now, first right back was, of course, Emil Kraft. He was only on the pitch for 20-odd minutes. So I think we'll give him a 6, Billy. I think just a straightforward 6. He wasn't on long enough to... He made a few good runs. He lost the ball a couple of times, but I can't really rate him. I'm going for Kieran Trippier because he was on the pitch the majority for the right back, and I thought Trippier gets a 9 because he was superb tonight. He lost the ball, I think, once in the second half. But look, if you watch Kieran Trippier, Billy, it's all about what he does off the ball as well as on it. And sometimes he was guiding Elliot Anderson. Even when Elliot would lay the ball off to him, and then he was telling Elliot Anderson where to make a run, etc. And the 2 deliveries for the goals were absolutely magical. So for me, Trips gets a 9. We'll move across to the left-hand side, Billy. You can have both left backs because obviously, we had a left back for each half. So Target and Jamal Lewis.
Target, I'll give a 5 for. I thought he was mainly at fault for the goal. Really slow getting back. Okay with the ball at his feet, he wasn't too bad, but he wasn't the Target we're used to seeing. Whether the injuries kind of hampered him a bit, I don't know. And actually thought it looked much better when Jamal Lewis came on. I thought it was solid at the back. I thought he offered more going forward also. I'll give Jamal Lewis a 7.
He does want to get forward, Lewis, doesn't he? He really does.
Yeah.
And, credit to him. Moving into the centre-backs, I'll take Jamal Lascelles. I'll give Lascelles a 7, only because he scored. I think it would have been a 6 had he not scored. I just don't trust him with the ball at his feet, Billy. He can't bring the ball out. He tried a ball in the first half, which just went straight to the goalkeeper. He then tried a couple of passes, one in the second half, one in the first half, which he passed straight out of play. Just not at it at all. And yes, he took the bang on the nose, but Fabian Schär takes bullets to the head practically every game. And so we can't really blame the bang on the nose. So for me, I'll give him a 7, but only just. Paul Dummett, Billy.
Yeah, I'm afraid this man's time as a Premier League footballer must be coming to an end. The lad's pace has gone. His defensive positioning is not really good up to it. In a flat back four, he's okay in a back three, but as a back four, not for me. Yeah, I don't like to give really low marks, but I'm afraid I can't give any higher than a 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I just think and I said this the last time he played as well, Billy. I think he looks lost now. I mean, that back pass, that all came around because of, the challenge on Darlow came around because of that terrible back pass. And it wasn't like he passed it on his wrong foot either. He passed it with his left foot. But there was times he was so all over the place. And it's a shame because I always thought, I've been always shouting out for Paul Dummett to play centre-back because I think that, that long term would have been his best position. But of course, injuries, I think, have caught up with him. I generally think that, which is a shame. So I'd agree on that one. Now, moving into the midfield, we've got, I'll go with Sean Longstaff, and he gets a 2. I thought he was absolutely shocking. I can't give him more. He hit that brilliant pass in the first couple of minutes that put Murphy in. But after that, his distribution was abysmal. It was simply abysmal. And again, he's played. That is a game that Sean Longstaff, for me, should be standing out. He's one of those players that he's been put in the team by Eddie Howe, and he should be standing out. And for me, he did nothing in that game. He was poor. So he gets a 2. Longstaff wasn't great, but a 2 ? Says Geordie. Says Chris, maybe a 4. Look, everyone will have their opinion. My opinion was a 2. End of. Billy, Joe Willock?
I was actually very impressed with Joe Willock, actually. I thought he was one of the ones that actually stamped his authority on the game. Going forward, looked good. Sometimes, when Lascelles went off with his nose, who covered at the back? It was Joe Willock. He went in and stood at centre back for 5 minutes. I think I'll give Joe Willock a 7. And probably would have been more if it wasn't for the fact that at times, he was having to do the work of 2 men, which covering Longstaff wasn't great. So 7 for Willock.
Yeah, okay. Alex, as usual, doesn't agree with me. 2 is harsh. I don't care. It's for me, just no. Undy, I think, is Danielle in disguise. I'm giving them all a 10 because in cup football, they're all technically finals and we're through. How are the lads? Yeah, okay. Derek says, go and show your support for the team. Yeah. Interesting. Ian says, Willock seemed lazy in the first half. Good second half. I go 6.5, but no half, so 6. It's a bit harsh, that. But then again, this is what player ratings are all about. Now, Elliot Anderson. Now, for me, he played a very good first half, tired out a little bit in the second. I'm going to give Elliot a 7 because I thought first half, especially the first half hour, he was taking players on. He was shooting the ball. He was wanting to be involved. And I think, for me, he played very well, took his chance. So he gets a 7 from me. Now, if we move into the front 3, Billy, you can have Matthias Ritchie.
Oh, the poor lad's legs are gone. You can't fault him for effort, but his legs are gone. He's got no pace whatsoever. Looked a lot better when Trippier came on, though, I've got to say. Who got involved much more. Trippier was involved in him much more, not playing balls down the line to win on to, which he can't do. He was playing it to feet, so he looked better when Trippier came on. Before he came on, I give him a 4, and after he came on, I'd say a 6. So he was in between 5.
Okay, yeah. Now Jacob Murphy. I'm giving him a 1. I can't actually believe I'm doing this, right? But he's only getting a 1 because he was on the pitch. He was dreadful. I mean, absolutely dreadful. The guy did nothing. I mean, literally nothing. He had a chance to score in the first couple of minutes from that fantastic ball by Longstaff, and again, just fluffed it up. Just a little powder puff kick back to the goalkeeper. You know, the likes of, I'm not saying any, the class golf, but a proper striker like Alan Shearer would have been on. He would have just lashed that ball straight in the back of the net. But he was just awful. He gave the ball away so many times. I cannot understand how he was so poor. And it just says to me that the guy has gone as far as he can as for progression. He is not going to get any better. That's for certain. So for me, he should be going out to, back maybe on loan to Sheffield Wednesday or something like that, and back to somewhere that's around his class, because Premier League is certainly not it. So he gets a 1. Billy, Woody.
Had he not scored, I'd have been scoring him pretty low. But the fact he scored, and after that, his movement was better. He actually held the ball up on a couple of occasions. Despite him scoring, I could only give him a 6, because before that he was absolutely dreadful. No movement, no urgency, no desire. But the goal changed that. He was better after that, a lot better when he held the ball up on occasions, running through also, and much better afterwards. So I mean, before the goal, you're looking at 3 or 4, but the fact he scored. And then
a lot of people agreeing with you actually in the chat, putting 6s. So Cliff says giving Murphy 1 is very generous. Well, yeah. Hang on, it was just said that. Ancients of Moon says very harsh ratings. Wonder what ratings would be like if we had lost. Well, we've got to be honest, mate. We're not going to sit here and just because we won say, oh, everything is rosy in the garden, because it clearly wasn't. It was a dreadful, dreadful performance. We were pegged back in the last 15 minutes by a League Two side. So, I mean, come on. We weren't good. We weren't good. And I'm sorry, but, we have to say it how it is. Despite the fact we won, some of these players didn't turn up. Now, there was... Who else came on? Botman came on. I'll just go with a 6 for Botman. I think he lost the ball a couple of times, actually.
Bit of a culture shock for him, weren't it? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, it would be. But listen, Botman is going to improve. We've seen what he's like against top opposition. He's a very good player. But it was a 6 for me. Did anyone else come on?
Joe Linton came on and short things up, didn't he?
Yeah,
he wanted to short things up, but he went on long, so 6, well, I guess.
Yeah, Bruno wasn't on long enough, was he, to give him a rating? To be fair,
no.
So yeah, I'd go with a 6 for Big Joe as well. Tony's given Botman a 4. I think that's a bit harsh. Christ. Julie J says Botman 5. Well, yeah, maybe between a 5 and a 6, I guess. But Rachel says it might not have been pretty, and we certainly had some casualties in that match, but we progress to the next round. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's that's the best thing to come from it, is that we're in the next round now, and we can now relax and look forward to Palace at home in the Cup. But for now, it all turns back to the Premier League again, Billy.
Yeah, an important game on Sunday, which obviously we need to put most of the squad at full fitness. But the unfortunate thing is that some of these are first choice subs, aren't they? And we've marked some of them down at 1s and 2s. Yeah, we need to definitely strengthen depth without any shadow of a doubt. And obviously we're going to do that. Obviously, in some places we're going to improve. So yeah, I think we can.
I think that's important. We could have a couple more in by the time we take on Wolves. Certainly, if Isak is as far down the line as a lot of people are saying it is, the bids agreed, that it's pretty much personal terms agreed, etc. Then get him in for a medical and get him in the squad for Sunday. It's simple as that.
And if anyone saw that little cameo show they did on Sky Sports after the game, we're getting some player here. We're getting some player here because he's.
Yeah, I mean, people are very. I mean, to be honest, when he was first mentioned, in the transfer shows, I was also saying that I wasn't sure about him, especially with the goals he scored last season. Listen, I think the valuation is still too high. I think we're paying a lot more for him than what I think he's currently worth. But that might all change. He could come in and be an absolute gem. And suddenly that price tag, look at Joe Linton. He comes in for £40 million and we didn't even rate him at £5 million at one stage. And now we'd probably double the valuation on Joe Linton, because of the player he's become. So listen, valuations are what it is. But we said on the shows leading up to this that if you're going to go for a striker, you got to pay the going rate at the minute. And certainly Isak is one of those. He had a fantastic season. I think it was 2021 that he had a brilliant season. Quiet last season, but listen, here we go. He's going to be playing with Almiron, with Bruno, with Joe Linton, Maxi. There's a lot to be excited about here. So hopefully this one progresses and actually gets done, because it'll be fantastic. And Chris makes a good point here. Isak or Gordon for 60 million. You take Isak all day. Because Gordon's not worth 60 million.
Half a season, that's all he's played. Yeah. You're paying a lot of money there for potential. Isak's doing it on the world stage for Sweden. He's doing it in what they call it. What's the Spanish league called? Can't remember what it's called. Spanish league though, La Liga. Superb. They scored. It wasn't so good last year, but the season before, lots of goals. This lad's got lots of potential also to fulfil. So he's not the finished article yet, but the service he requires is far less than what Chris Wood requires, because he can score from anywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, Billy, right? You look at Isak and you look at what Eddie Howe can do with players. Well, not just Eddie, but the coaching staff as well. You look at what they've done with Emil Kraft, who we wrote off. Joe Linton, we wrote off. You can see differences in certain other players that we kind of forgot about. Fabian Schär, we all thought he was going to be out the club, and then suddenly he's one of our mainstay centre-backs now. The improvement in some of these players is quite incredible to what we initially thought of them. So you're getting a guy like Isak coming, who was what, 21? I think he's 21.
Yep.
Good
in the air, quick.
Yeah.
Hard to mark.
He's got it all.
Because you don't know what kind of service he requires, because all of it's good for him. Crosses, through balls. How do you mark someone like that? It's hard. I think he'll do really well for us. What do you do?
Well, yeah, he excites me. Andy says, I watched the Isak best bits on YouTube and I said, wow. I remember I watched the best bits of Wood when he signed and I said, oh, God, no. And the first comment on YouTube said the same thing. Look, I think Isak gives us something different. He's big, he's strong, he's quick. That's the difference. You've got to be quick. And Isak is. And if we can, ping balls. And he's not injury prone either, Billy. I think that's the main thing as well. He doesn't pick up injuries very, very easily. And, to run the channels like he does and, to have another target man in the box like that, we are going to be deadly from set pieces and things like that, aren't we?
Indeed. And if you saw that cameo we saw earlier, he was scoring goals inside the box, right foot, left foot, headed. He also scored from outside the box. We haven't seen a striker play like that first since, dare I say, the Master. That score any kind of goal, be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it, because we become more dangerous, don't we? Much more dangerous. For all the love we give Callum Wilson, he's a fantastic striker, but he's got to have a specific kind of service. This lad can take anything, and he can make goals himself also.
Absolutely. Sean says, thinking if West Ham's offer gets accepted for 33 million, we should hijack it. Isak and Paqueta got to be over the moon with that. Sean, forget about Paqueta. Just forget about Paqueta. It really frustrates me that these in the know accounts have put Paqueta's name in everybody's head. But Newcastle have come out and said he is not on the radar, right? He's not. Newcastle aren't interested in signing Paqueta. The club have said it. So we need to let that one go, and they said they've never been in for him. So where the in the know accounts have got their information from, it just proves a lot for me. And as usual, I will stipulate again on this channel, we only say about players. We do, that are linked in the media. We'll talk about them. We'll look at the stats. We'll see what they could bring to the club should they sign. But we never say medical booked in. We never say anything like that until the club announce it. And we will always stand by those rules on this channel. And that will be the case moving forward in any transfer window. We will only go through it. I know Alex has put a bit together for should Pedro sign. He'll put a bit together. Should Isak sign? If the club announce it, we'll then talk about it and go through everything in more detail. And that's how we work on the channel. So forget about Paqueta. It's not happening. Barbara says, Eddie, a great manager, but nobody can make a great player out of Chris Wood. Foxy says, Isak scored 6 in his last 42 games, club and country, decent player, but the price puts big pressure on him, and straight in to replace Wilson won't be easy. Jesus 45 million or Isak 60. Look, the bottom line is, Foxy, the valuation is what it is. We just have to go with it, and it's a big, big signing. And yes, it puts pressure on him straight away. But this guy he's a Swedish international. He can take that pressure. I'm pretty sure of it. And to play in the Premier League, he'll thrive. I really do.
I hope he's better than the last
with the manager we have.
I hope he's better than the last Swedish centre forward we signed.
Andreas Andersson. How can we forget? Yeah. We'll move on from that, Billy. His dribbling is outrageous. Have you seen the clip of him for Sweden in the Euros? He's brilliant. He is a brilliant player. And I'm very excited about the signing, Billy. And all these negative Nancy's can bugger off.
Yeah, he did a great season last year, but perhaps he needs a change of scene.
Yeah,
I think he's physical enough to take the rigors of Premier League football. And as I said before, he's easy to give service to, because he can take it anywhere. He can make it himself. He can head crosses in. He can run the channels. He's got good. Both of his feet are good. And that's what you got to pay 70 million for these days. Let's be honest, 7 million euros for. You've got to pay a lot of money for these kind of strikers. Simple as that.
Gallagher Brown says Wilson will still be number 1 if fit. I'm not so sure. What it will do is it'll manage Wilson's game time a lot better. The pressure won't be on him to be on the pitch for 90 minutes or play every game. That's a certainty. It gives Eddie Howe options then. So it may take the stress load off Callum Wilson.
He's a fantastic impact sub, isn't he? Half an hour every week. You know what I mean? He's a fantastic impact sub.
Without a doubt. Get Pulisic in and we have a top-class starting 11. Why are Arsenal fans jumping on everything about Isak, saying they'd rather have Jesus for 45? Good for you, lads. You only got him because you missed Isak in January. Yeah, I take it that Paqueta could be going to West Ham. Well, he could, but the first bid's been rejected. So, I don't think Leon particularly want to sell Paqueta, Billy.
No, I think you'd have to go well over the top to get him. I mean, they were saying in the week 34 would get him, but I'm not so sure. I think we might revisit the Madison deal, though. I think there's every chance of that.
Yeah. Paul, just stop repeating yourself to these people because it's getting annoying hearing it every single show. That's my thoughts. I love you. Don't shout at me. I'm not going to shout at you, but I have to say it because I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people. It's not me. It's a lot of people who get misled, and that's the point of it. They get misled.
And it's not just that. It's the after effects of it, the mental health issues. People get kind of all keyed up for these new signings that never happen.
Yeah.
Your mental health goes down the pan.
And that may sound stupid to some people. That may sound silly to some people, but it does. Some people live for the football, and the football is a way out. The football is a way out for the mental health. It's a way out for me. It's a way out for Billy. It's a way out. And we do this channel. We've had a lot of people saying, it's done wonders for mental health. It does wonders for mine because of what I go through every day. But listen, at the end of the day, people get misled, and it does have that impact on people. So that's why it's wrong. I don't know why people just can't wait for the club to announce it. People obsessed with Paqueta. Some have probably never seen a full match with him. Not going to happen. I think Cow wants a midfielder with Premiership experience like Gallagher or Harrison. I'd love Conor Gallagher, Billy. I think he'd be a fantastic sign, even if he came on loan.
Yeah, because he's got that effervescence, hasn't he? He's non-stop running. And that's one thing we haven't got in the middle of the park is legs, proper legs for 90 minutes. I mean, he's non-stop, isn't he? So he'd be an ideal kind of signing for us. So would Madison, for that matter, with the creativity. But yeah, we definitely need to strengthen that right side and kind of centre midfield as well, with Shelby being injured. But I mean, with all these injuries we keep getting, we might strengthen everywhere.
Exactly. Foxy says, so now Pedro is off or still on? We don't know. We honestly, I would never claim to know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I still think, if we got Isak and Pedro, that's fantastic for me. That is two quality players come through the door. But we don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Let's just wait and see what Newcastle come out with. Because I think over the next couple of days, we may see movement. We may see the club come out and say something. But time will tell. Time will tell. C-Stock says, I believe that the ownership have a few more surprises in store for us fans. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another announcement tomorrow. Yeah. If Isak's all, what's to say that we couldn't make a double announcement of Isak and Pedro, Billy? It would be wonderful.
Yeah, could well happen. Yeah, could well happen. Absolutely. I don't think we'll be finished there either. I think we still maybe one or two more to come in afterwards.
I still think we'll get a loan deal in as well, Billy.
Yeah, I do too. We've still got plenty to strengthen. So Eddie Howe won't be satisfied until we've got quality in most positions to come off the bench. Yeah.
Captain Keefart says, wise words, RE mental health, Paul. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Cav says that is true. We all need to relax and just support the club. BT says a real battle tonight. How many will be out for Sunday's match? Who knows? Who knows? John X says ASM, Wilson, Isak. Yeah, well, who's to say that he won't play both of them? Isak can play on one side. He's done that before. He likes cutting in, and if you look at his YouTube, some of the goals on there, he's cutting in from the wing and smashing them in the corner. So who's to say that he won't play? Isak can't play on one side, and he could alternate with Wilson. Wilson can do it as well. It would just give us more options.
Yeah, do you remember the Graham Jones masterclass at Everton when he first came to the club and we beat him 2-0? I think we played the three up front and Wilson played on the right that game and Miggy came to the middle. Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah. Keep calling out these in the nose, Paul. They deserve shaming. Thanks, Abs. Tangy says this last week is where we really got active in the market. We need 2 or 3 for squad depth and rotation. Anything could happen, but if it doesn't, I still remember where we were a year ago. I don't see us signing both, says Ian. Well, why? Why? If we've agreed, then why not? Conor Gallagher is the one I want. I've no idea how the people at Chelsea work when they want Gordon for 60 million. That's absolute bonkers. I'd agree with that 100%. But there you go, guys. That is the review show done and dusted for tonight. It's been a difficult night for Newcastle United, but they've come through it, and that is the positive thing to come from tonight. This time last year we'd gone out to Burnley. And things were all doom and gloom. But this time, we've done it the hard way. We've battled through, but there you go. That just shows the battling capabilities of this team. When we're not playing well, we've still come away with a result, which is a positive to take without a shadow of a doubt. And we move on. We play Crystal Palace in the next round. But obviously, Eddie won't be thinking of that yet. He'll be thinking of, the tough games ahead in the Premier League. And boy, are they tough. But hopefully we get some players in very soon. If anything does happen regarding transfers, we'll bring it to you on the Toon Review. We will be back tomorrow night live at 8 o'clock with the preview for the Wolves game. So do join us for that. And hopefully we'll be celebrating big announcements from the club, maybe for a couple of signings. But if they do happen, we'll bring it to you first on the Toon Review. But thank you very much for spending your evening with both myself and Billy for the watch along and the review tonight. And thank you to everybody that super chatted, including tonight as well, and joined in the membership. Thank you to the mods for a fantastic job tonight on both shows. It's been very busy. We've had fantastic viewing figures. We've had over 100 new subscribers, which is fantastic. It really is, and long may that continue. So thank you to everybody. So if you have enjoyed the show tonight, please hit that like button, guys. If you're new and you like what you see, do hit the subscribe button. It is free to do so, and also the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or go live. Billy, thanks for your company tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the preview of the Wolves game, and earlier if something else happens regarding the transfers. But enjoy the rest of the evening, guys. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?